It took me forever to find a spot to record. I was initially trying to record at a track because I was going to run sprints, make a little video, blah, blah, blah. That didn't work out at all. So here we are today. I'm going to put like a little clip in right here of where I'm at. I'm 99% sure this is Conor McGregor's house in Vegas, which is crazy because it's on the east side. And that's just like, in Vegas, the east side is just not great. There are some like nice mansions and stuff out here, but it's so random. Like it's like 20 minutes away from the freeway. Horrible. I'm not sure why anybody would want to live out here. But besides that, today's topic, honestly, I've been thinking about it, especially going from my school to school. How many times I had to change schools going up. We're going to talk about starting over, right? Especially me right after a divorce that's been a month in the making since it happened, since moving out and everything, having to move back in to my mom's house. I rent out a room. She's in California, not a big deal. It's pretty smooth staying at the house, but it's selling pretty soon. So I got to head out this month too, restart again, move again. I can't count how many times in my life I've had to move places. I went to 7 different elementary schools, 2 different middle schools. Actually, I probably went to more elementary schools than that. I've lived in Tennessee, Florida twice, Texas, Nicaragua twice. Like, I've been all over. And that really affects anybody, to be honest. When you consider not having a stable home or, putting roots in anywhere, you grow this habit and this like emotional coping mechanism of just being able to detach pretty easy, which makes having genuine connections pretty difficult. So other people, especially in hookup culture, that's a very common way to build this coping mechanism. It's just going from person to person to person, not really building a genuine connection. Some people didn't have a stable home. Exhibit A, right? So never stayed in one spot. We didn't have a house. We always lived in apartments. I always shared a room with my sister. I had nothing of my own, and I always had to start over everywhere we met. New friends, new places, new school, whatever. And so now that I'm here starting over again, right? At least there's a couple things that are constant in my identity, right? God is constant. My health and fitness are constant, whether that's in Muay Thai, football, or the gym. That's constant. Since I've stayed in Vegas, I have a consistent church, which is extremely important. You guys have to be rooted in community if you want to be successful. There's, of course, people who are lone wolves and they make it real far. But if you want to go the furthest, you have to go together. And that's just the way you got to do it. So starting over here, it gets pretty frustrating because you feel like everything was a waste. You feel like everything was just thrown in the trash and nothing good came from it, which isn't true at all. You gain so much knowledge and wisdom from that last season you were in. It's difficult for me to say because the past 2 years, honestly, it seems like nothing good came from it, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of seasons we experience where we feel that way also. But that's not necessarily true because God makes promises in the Bible. And in these promises, he says he won't let anything go to waste, right? He'll give you a double portion. He redeems. That's what he does. I'll probably put some promises up right there. But he promises these things and he doesn't break his word. So any kind of season that we went through, he doesn't let it go to waste at all. It doesn't matter what we believe or what we feel or whatever. He promised it. Nothing goes to waste. With our God, he's that good. He takes whatever damage, whatever bad it is, and he'll make it good somehow. Whether it's a lesson, whether it's an experience where I'm like, hey, you know what? I've been through that before. I don't want to do that again, right? Because now, even after the first time we divorced, because we split up a year in 2024, we split up late last year. And in that time, I was like, man, I don't want to repeat the same mistakes again. I don't want to start something with some girl and it not be genuine, or just because I marry her potential, blah, blah, blah. Like, I learned because of that experience that I had, and it helps me not repeat the same mistakes again. So yes, the last 2 years might feel like a waste, but that doesn't mean it is. Because now what I learned is already being applied, and I'm already taking this into account, and I'm already applying this to my life. Like, man, yeah, she might be pretty, but what else? She might have great potential, but what's she doing right now? You know, she might be great in a couple years, but am I going to suffer those couple years until she figures it out, and then what? Right? God, man, my stuttering. It's not even stuttering. I just don't pronounce some vowels or consonants sometimes. It's kind of weird. But the sky looks beautiful, bro. It's amazing. Off topic. Show you a little screen right here. But those times, there were some good times. We can't ignore that. There were some good times. I wouldn't marry somebody who just made me feel miserable all the time. There were good times. She did have moments of shining, and things were great. Things were cool, you know. But you also can't glorify those things and stay stuck in a relationship or in a situation or at a job or on a team just because there's a couple good moments, right? You have to look into account everything and look for your future. And so starting over was hard to do. Even the decision to start over was hard to do because you might get stuck in that comfort of, oh, but we have some good times, or, oh, but this job, you know, it does pay my bills, or, you know, I do get a discount when I eat here or whatever, right? And the decision to start over is hard, and then actually starting over is hard also. You have to realize it doesn't matter what you're feeling or what's happening right now, but what's it going to do in the future? Are you investing in the future? Is it going to pay dividends in the future, right? You could sacrifice for short term, you know, sacrifice 5 years of your life for 1 year of good things. Or you could grind it out for a couple years real hard in the beginning and then reap the benefits later on. It depends. You know, some people want to party in their 20s, waste their life for what? Some dude on a pit bike is flying up here. Let's see what happens. Looks like that thing is barely scooting. That's hilarious. Don't stop up here, bro. I'm making a video. Oh my gosh. What's up, bro? I think at the same time, there's a lot of beauty in just starting over, because it really taught me I can't be holding on to a lot of the materialistic things that I've had in my life. I had 6-figure years at 20 years old, and then I lost it all the next year. So what does it matter building all these material things on this earth when what's really most important is having that relationship with my Father and building that for something that's everlasting, building His kingdom and saving those people who need it, right? Those people who need help. What is my 6 figures spending it on an Audi and a GTI, having 2 cars for no reason, and a motorcycle? What's the point of all that? What's the point? Who am I helping with doing that? I was spending $1,600 a month on 2 cars for what? That could have went to the church. It could have went to helping people, feeding people. It could have been so many more useful things. But instead, I was wasting it on stupid stuff just to take a girl out to dinner, just to go out and eat, and just to go out and then go spoil myself on stupid stuff that doesn't matter. What's the point? How is that going to last? That's not building a legacy. That's not helping others and serving others. I felt the most rich, and like 6 figures definitely isn't rich, but I felt the most rich when I was serving in my community, when I was greeting in church, saying hello to that old person who has nobody, right? Helping that guy who's by himself, whether he's going through a divorce or he wants to kill himself or whatever it is. Being there for that person is way more valuable and enriching to your life than just having some extra money in your account. That stuff doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Just so I can be secluded have a nice house up here in the middle of nowhere and like be away from everybody. That's not rich at all. That's dead, dying alone. I'd rather be surrounded by people who love me and help others and have an actual purpose instead of just having all these material things. And starting over so many times, because there's so many positions I had where commission sales, make 6 figures, right? Had my own business, we're on track to make that, all these kinds of things, and it just gets taken away in an instant, right? Whether it's my own bad decisions or just outside things that affect it, that stuff can be taken away in any second. It doesn't matter. But what people can't take away, what the world can't take away, is what you did for God and the kingdom that's gonna last forever. And I think about when I get up there and I see people who I served, right, and I helped, right, and people definitely aren't saved because of me, but I had a help in that. I had a play in that. God used me, and he worked through me to help others. But it's going to be way more fulfilling when I get up there and I see those people. And it's not because of me, but I know I helped, right? And I know I got them up there. And now they don't have to spend eternity away from God. And that's what really matters. That's what's really important. Because all this stuff is fleeting. It don't matter. Like if you read Ecclesiastes with Solomon, that dude had everything. He was the richest man. And he was still miserable. He said all this is meaningless, which is crazy. The most intelligent, richest man saying this is all meaningless. All right, so starting over so many times in my life, that's one of the big things that taught me. And God had grace on me because I think he wants to make sure, I know he does. I know he wants to make sure that I'm ready and I can handle it when he does give me these good blessings and these good things, right? Because a lot of us are self-entitled and selfish, like, God, give me a wife. You're not ready for that. Why would he give you that? You can't even handle yourself, and you think you're going to get a wife? How about you pay your bills on time and then maybe you'll get a wife? How about you control your sexual urges and maybe you'll get a wife, right? Why is he going to give you one of his daughters if you can't even control your own body, bro? Why? Why is he going to do that? Why is he going to give you that promotion when you aren't even doing your job well right now? Why is he going to bless you with a car when you just wrecked the last 3 of them? What's the point? So starting over, I think that has been so heavy on my life. I mean, especially now. God used it to keep me humble. He used it to kind of reset me so I could learn the right lesson, because he's not going to let me get to the next season until I learn a specific lesson that he's trying to teach me. And he's done it. I lived it multiple times. And so for anyone else, it's going to be any other reason. It could be you need to learn how to manage your money. You need to learn how to have self-control over your body, your emotions, your flesh, whatever it is. You need to learn how to serve others. You need to learn how to have quiet time. It could be anything, anything. God has certain goals for us. He has a certain plan for us. And if we're not doing positive, good things for that, he's going to reset us. And it's kind of a weird dynamic where God has big plans for people. So he's going to put more, like, I wouldn't say suffering in their lives, but they're going to go through more struggles because he needs to get them in shape and in ready condition for the plans that he has, right? Because if God wants me to have a business, he's not just going to give a business to a 10-year-old and say, here you go. He's going to build me up so I can actually handle it. You're not going to hand the keys to a Lamborghini, not hand the keys of a Lamborghini to a 16-year-old boy who just got his license. You're not going to do that. It's not wise. It's not wisdom. So with resetting and restarting in life, 1, God doesn't let it go to waste. 2, it happens for a reason. Whether it's my own consequences, right? It's the consequences of my actions, or it's God resetting me. It happens for a reason. And 2, we got to understand, where are we going? We got to have a goal in mind. We got to have clarity on where God wants us to go. Because if we don't have a clear direction of where he wants us to go, we're just going to run in circles and accomplish nothing with our lives. We're just going to be running around doing who knows what, being led by who knows what, going nowhere. And I don't want that. I have things to do, right? This is the reason I'm doing this. I was told to do this. I know that all the suffering that I went through and all the knowledge that he taught me, because of the suffering, right? The reason I had the parents that I had, the reason why those things happened to me when I was younger, the reason why I was broke, the reason why all these things is so that I could take all this knowledge, be obedient to God, and now give it to you. That's the whole point. Because if God can use me in my suffering to help others not suffer by listening to my experience and my wisdom, why not? Why wouldn't I do that? You know how many brothers I'm like, hey, bro, she's not good. Don't do it. Hey, bro, you shouldn't go out tonight. That's not good. Stop going to the club. Stop drinking. Stop smoking. Stop taking this, taking that. I got to be there for my brothers to stop them from doing that, because I know what that does to somebody. They're going to figure it out eventually, but why wouldn't I stop it before it happens? God already showed me what happens. So if I can stop a brother from falling into anything, I'm going to do it. Because that's what he made me for. I'm here to spread a message, and I'm here to stop you from stumbling. I'm not going to sit idly by. I'm pretty upset with the church and what I've been saying, because they have the answers, right? They have Jesus. But then they're going out and getting Starbucks, going to their cute little Bible studies with just the same person every single day. And they're not telling the world about what's wrong. Like, hey, do you know where you're going? Do you have a relationship with Jesus? Do you know where you go if you die right now? The church has the answers, but they're not doing anything about it. They're sitting there, they're comfortable. They all hang out with the same people every week. They're in the same circle, the same clique every week in church. And that pisses me off so bad. I can't stand that at all. Because there's people who need help. And we need to go after them. We need to save them. Simple as that. God put me through too much to just sit here and do nothing with my life. I suffered way too much to not accomplish great things. I did. And I know that I went through those things because I feel in my heart, bro. I feel for people so bad who are suffering. Anytime I see somebody alone in church, it breaks my heart, and I have to go talk to them. It doesn't matter what my mood is that day or how I feel that day. I feel such a pull on my heart, and it just says, go, go, go. I have to go speak to that person. It's a common thing, and this isn't bragging on myself or anything. I hope it doesn't come off that way. But it's a common thing where people introduce me, and they're like, yeah, Manny's the first person I met in church. Manny introduced me to this person. Manny introduced me to that person. And, I mean, I'm kind of glad. I'm pretty glad that I have that reputation, I guess. Because people know that I don't hate the 99. But I will leave the 99 for the one. And I accidentally hit pause on that because I hit my watch on accident. But like I was saying is, I will leave the 99 for the one all day because I am the one. And I know how that feels. And I could tear up right now thinking about it, bro, because I am the one that ran away from God, right? I was in the world. And I was there trying to get comfort in women, hooking up with women, getting praise from women, getting all this admiration and this addiction. I was the one that ran off. And God said, no, you get comfort in me. God chased me down. And he said, come back home. So I know how that feels. Jesus isn't acting like the people in the church today. He's not sitting there comfortable with his friends, with their matcha coffee and all this stuff. He's not doing that. He's out there. He's going out to people like me who are broken. God did that. And I want to live like that. I'm going after the one. I don't want to get to heaven and God says, look at all the people that you could have saved. Look at all the people you could have led to me. But instead, you were in bed with a girl. You are out here doing this. You're in the back of a car. What are you doing with your life, son? I would hate if I get to those gates and God says, you were in the backseat of the car when I needed you talking to this man who wanted to kill himself. I would hate that. I would hate myself for that. Because I know how much it hurts. I've been there, bro. And I see people alone in church, and I hate that. And I'm just going to keep, going in circles on this because I feel so heavy on this. But God kept restarting my life because I kept running away. And he said, no, we need to start right here. My job would pull me away. The money that I had would pull me away. This woman would pull me away. This marriage pulled me away. And God said, I'm taking this. And you have nothing but me. So you have to come back to me. Because you need a reality check and you need to realize I am peace. I am love. I am joy. I am wealth. God is all those things. And I forgot that. That's my fault. So now, all the girls I hooked up with, they're damaged now because of me forgetting who God really is. That marriage, that girl's hurting no matter what. It don't matter if it's her fault or not. She's in pain now. Because we tried to build something for 2 years and it just got taken away, ripped away because of our own bad behavior. But if I remembered what God told me, because he told me stay single and stay with me, I didn't obey. I did what I wanted to do. I did what I felt like doing. And now look at my life. Because in that time I had a car. I was healthy. I was making money. I had a great job. But because I disobeyed him and I ran off and I was the one, now 2 people are hurt. Now me, now her, now we're hurt. Now we wasted 2 years of our life because I was disobedient to God and I ran away. So he said, no, I need to check you. I'm going to break you down and I'm going to build you down to your foundation and we're going to start over. And now here I am. I'm starting over. And honestly, I don't have much else to say on that. The amount of times we start over, a lot of times is up to us. A lot of times is the consequences of our actions. If we just stayed with God, we wouldn't have to start over so much. We would have a clear direction of where we're going. And we could just walk with God. But because of our flesh and our disobedience, everything goes off track and he has to bring us back. That's just what was on my heart today, and that's just what I'm thinking. I got to try to keep these short, man, because I talk forever, but that's what we're on. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Honestly, I could probably do this every day. I could probably talk about something every day. But that's just how I'm feeling. That's what I want to share with you. I pray this helps. But God has big things for us, and we can't ignore it. We can't just throw it away for what we want in the moment, our own fleshly desires. Think about the big picture. Think about the legacy. You want hookup culture for the next 1, 2, 5, 10 years? Or do you want to build a business, have wealth, have a family that'll last hundreds? That's up to you. You call it. I'm done.